So I am out in the wild. I'm on my way to go see one of my good friend's personal libraries. I don't know if you've heard of him, but his name is Nerd Morning, or Jeremy, however you know him as, and he has made his very own library. I cannot wait to go see it. It makes me want to think like Belle and sing, "I want adventure like the great white somewhere." Just kidding. I'm not doing a musical. Let's get going. So I did call him in advance to let him know I was coming, and he has done one of the coolest things. He made a whole entire bedroom, just a small space, into a library, and I cannot wait to go see it. So I'm going to come and ring the doorbell, and let's go check it out.
Okay.
All right.
Ready to see it?
I'm so ready to
All right.
see it. Here we go.
So just kind of a couple details real fast. I made a film. And this was an original score for it. So I've got some personal touch stuff things inside. And then I have just a whole bunch of just different sections and stuff like that. I guess we'll just start over here. Various books and series and things like that. Kind of some young adult stuff, some foreign language things. I've got kind of like classic lit stuff like Pride and Prejudice and stuff like that up in there. Little fun knickknacks and doodad things like for the Naruto series.
Okay, I like that you have knickknacks and
yes.
stuff. It's not just books, it's
Yeah,
extra
it's
stuff. Because,
all linked in.
Yeah, because you're not just a reader, you have a lot of fun little extra things because of your Nerd Morning show that you
Exactly,
do.
yeah, and so they get tied together. So this is like a Naruto picture, one that the character has in the series of his team, Team 7, and that kind of kicks off the manga section, which I'm really proud of. I've got over 600 volumes of that, and they're alphabetical is how I run the series.
Okay, so should I ask right now if manga's your biggest section, or do you have a bigger one?
I've got more traditional Western comics.
Okay.
And yeah, so I've got hundreds and thousands of different books and different things here.
This is just section 1.
Yeah, this is section 1.
Okay, let's come around the corner and see more.
So, there are various genres, various types of stories here. Again, with different knickknacks stuff. Some stuff from My Hero Academia, Demon Slayer. We've got some Pokemon figure things and stuff like that. Up here, I have C.S. Lewis, and these are called Little Big Books up here. And so I've got just kind of some stacks of those.
Those are really old.
Very old. That's a style of book that we don't really have print anymore. That's just out of style now. But I think they're fascinating, and there's some that are kind of younger reader stuff, some mystery, various different categories and groupings there. So then kind of the manga series kind of concludes, and I have some space to grow because I buy so many different things that's a way to help that continue to grow and shift.
I think that's wise.
Right.
Your library room can't
When
be
I
completely
redesigned this, that was a big part of having spots where I can, maybe they're filled with something, but I'm going to swap them out and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Some older classics, film theory stuff, and some various other books as well. Comic books start here. I start all of my comic categories with DC first, and I've got big sections of Batman and other type of stuff here. A kind of a pile of ones inside of a box as well. DC continues along here. Then we have Marvel books.
All right, I totally love that you have all these little things that it's organized and you can find.
Yes,
what you're
I want to be able
for.
to go, I want some Captain Marvel here, and I can just go slide in, or
just be like,
some Avengers.
I want to read this one.
Exactly, yeah, and that's tremendously helpful.
Yep.
But they've got more spots for this to grow. Here's some to be read pile. Spot for notes. All of these are filled with more comics. I guess I can make a quick note here. This is filled with more books, to be read piles, some cosplay stuff. This is just chock full with that type of stuff. So that's That's fun.
They just didn't get to be in the visual library like everybody else here.
Marvel continues.
Okay.
And then we have a Star Wars section and then independent comics. And I have actually a pretty good size collection of some old stuff, like some old Archie books, as well as new things that have gone throughout. And then I've got stuff that needs to be organized and shelved.
Isn't that how it always is?
Well, I mean, I read a ton of books throughout the week. I'm probably shelving maybe 5 to 10 manga volumes, 20 to 30 single issue comics, and then I'm pulling out and putting back hardbacks or traditional printed books as well.
All right, so if you had
it's like a constant shift.
If you had to guess, how many books do you read a week? We're counting comics and maybe traditional books.
So if I were to group it, I'd probably say about 5 to 10 manga volumes, maybe about 20 to 30 single issues, and probably around 4 or so, maybe more, of what you'd maybe consider like traditional books.
So you're wearing the right t-shirt today.
Yes, this is totally it. This section here, I've got my Jim Bookshire books, the Codex Alera series, the Dresden Files. I don't have every single volume in physical copies. They're just hard to be able to come by, and there's so many to collect.
Do you do audiobooks and ebooks as well?
Audiobooks, ebooks, physical copies. I'm not a discriminator in those type of ways. Any way that I can get a good story, I'm there for it.
It all works.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you had counted all of your ebooks and your audiobooks, this would be probably double in size.
Oh yeah. My digital copy of or digital library is just as big as
your physical library. Yes. That's really cool.
Then I have The Wheel of Time here as well. One of the best fantasy series. Absolutely love it. Then we have King Killer Chronicles. We'll see if that series ever finishes. Then we have my Brandon Sanderson section. I've got like the Cosmere stuff as well as some of his other stuff. The Kickstarter series. And then some other books that I kind of have that I'm going to bring in and out depending on how this is going to continue to grow, because I'm expecting to get more in that area as well. I also have some old classic books kind of scattered around, some things that are like these ones are children's stories and that kind of stuff. Up there we've got language books and different things about different cultures. So I've got ones on Arabic cultures and Asian cultures and things like that that I haven't studied or learned about and thought that was interesting. Then we'll get into my trades and the volumes that I have of comics that are collections.
So they're not like a single thin issue like your middle section here, right?
Yep. So this is like a single volume of Betty and Veronica, and this I think had, I want to say it was 12 issue series.
Okay.
And so they'll usually have about 6 or more issues collected in one of these volumes. So here's one of those volumes, and they've got about 6 or so issues inside of one of these collections.
So these mean that it's a thicker comic book basically, because it's combining a bunch of the little ones.
Exactly.
Cool.
So we've got like mostly this whole thing is Batman, because I'm a big Batman reader. Scoops up just alphabetically through DC. Then we have Marvel section and independent section, and then it goes into some other stuff that are kind of mixed about. I should make note on over here that we have a pile just of your books that I have there, and then my books that I've written too.
I super love that you have my books. That makes me happy. Yeah. It's in the library.
That's right.
Okay, so we got to Marvel, and then does that continue on through here? Or is this another section?
Yeah, that continues. I've got kind of like self-help type books, you could say, business.
So you don't just
like
read
that.
fiction.
Oh no, I actually have a lot more nonfiction in digital forms. I really like listening to nonfiction on audiobooks. A lot of self-development things I devour that way. That's one of the major ways that I do that. So biographies, and then here are some of my oversized books. So these are bigger editions of different books. So I'll just pull out one. This is traditional comic. Beautiful art in this one. Peach Momoko did this. And I don't know, there's a lot that I
And
can
it's a
talk
special
about.
edition because it's thicker and taller,
Thicker
and
and
just
bigger.
not like
It's
regular shape things.
Yeah, if you were to compare this with a average comic size, it's oversized.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So extra detail that you can see.
I don't think I knew that you could get those things. I knew that you could do the traditional, thin volumes, and I knew you could get the compilation ones.
Yeah.
I did not know you had like specialty books that were comics. That's cool.
Up here, I've got a little section for Doctor Who, Star Wars, the Shannara Chronicles, which is a big fantasy series with tons of stuff. Here's another one of the older books that I had mentioned. This one is actually a school book, and it is a young reader with Disney stuff as
so
the
something
focus.
they would do when you're learning to read a little bit more in school. That's really cool.
And this was designed for that type of thing.
That's a cool find.
I have some world religion books. I think that's fascinating, interesting to see different beliefs, different cultures, that kind of stuff. Then I've got some young adult stuff grouped along in those things, and then classics with nicer binding, pretty stuff like that. And then I've got a couple of things that I've kind of slid in different spots just to make homes for it. So we've got like Game of Thrones. I've got Shakespeare and some classics kind of stacked through there. The Assassin series by Robin Hobb, which is another fantasy that just needed a home. Various other books. One on the shelf that I really enjoy, I'm excited about, is the Harry Potter one. This Harry Potter was one really foundational for me as I started reading, and so I collected some Lego sets and things as a kid.
And it deserved its own shelf.
Yep, it got its own shelf that way.
I like all your extras and stuff.
Yes,
That's really fun.
So this is Ron Weasley's wand, and we've got a couple of different sets that.
So I have to
feature
ask,
particularly
any
the older
particular reason why you went with Ron's wand?
I did it because of my red hair. I've actually cosplayed as Ron at conventions and done a couple things like that. So that kind of fits with the costume.
Makes sense.
So
You guys all know my favorite character is Luna.
that's a fun
I love
character.
Luna, so that's one that you love, Ron.
I then have books based on comic books, or comic book characters. And got, Spider-Man, Black Widow, things that have been readaptations of the comics, but now in a story format. And then it goes along here with some other things. And then I have what you would call comic strip style stories, particularly Calvin and Hobbes. I have every Calvin and Hobbes story in at least one format.
You gotta love Calvin and Hobbes.
Yes, totally.
Amazing. This is so cool. This is a really good example of what you can do even with a small space. If you have a ton of books and you want to have your own library.
Yeah.
Because this is not a big room.
Everything I could to fit stuff in here. And there's little knickknacks and things throughout that are really just fun that I have to, because I love the characters, or it has a little special something there for me, and being able to incorporate all those in here just makes it a fun, interesting place to collect all the things, and also to have access to pull out and use all the different books.
Right, and I love that, and I love that you have extra little trinkets and things that go along with your favorites, because we all want those.
Totally.
So I love it. Hey, thanks for showing us your library today.
Yeah, thank you for giving me the time.
Appreciate it. It's awesome. Hey, thanks guys, and like and subscribe for some more content. We'll see ya.